Roy Douglas Proctor was 24 years old and working as a stockman when he enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 1st of July 1915. He was one of nearly 60,000 men who enlisted from Queensland during the war. He served in the 15th Battalion, 3/4 of which were recruited as volunteers from Queensland and the rest from Tasmania. 6 weeks after he enlisted, he embarked at Adelaide on the SS Kyara and joined the battalion on Lemnos, which was being used as a base during operations on the Gallipoli Peninsula. The battalion had been heavily involved in establishing and defending the front line of the Anzac beachhead, and in August 1915 had attacked Hill 971 and been forced to retreat. After its withdrawal from Gallipoli, Roy travelled to Egypt with the 15th Battalion. Roy sent Ruby many postcards for her album and wrote short messages about his early experiences as a soldier in Egypt.
Dear Ruby, this is the ship on which I left Nicholas Bay, Lemnos Island, for Alexandria, Egypt. I hope you are well and that you are receiving my postcards, for they will be interesting for your album. I am enjoying myself, for everything is so strange. I saw the pyramids today. I am still near Cairo, but expect to move away any day.
Roy also sent Ruby letters from Egypt. He spent time with his battalion at Tel El Kebir.
I feel as good, if not better, than when I left Brisbane, for the hard training has lightened a man up a lot, and where we are at present, we get plenty of training, and a good swim every day.
The end of the Gallipoli campaign in December 1915 changed the military situation in Egypt, and an Ottoman attack on the Suez Canal was expected there again in 1916. Roy was stationed on the Suez Canal and in a letter dated the 8th of May writes,
I am, as you will know by now, on the Suez Canal, waiting for the Turks to attack or a move to Europe. Our camp is now occupying some trenches on the bank of the canal, so I have plenty of sea bathing and fishing in my spare time, and although on patrol or guard every second night, we have a pretty fair time of it, and to see us you would think we were a lot of boys in shorts and helmets, and all baked brown with the sun. However, soon we must expect a more strenuous time, for we are looking for a cut at the Turks, and failing that, a go in Europe.
In June 1916, the 15th Battalion sailed for France and the Western Front. The battalion saw its first major action in France at Pozières in August 1916 as part of the BEF's Somme offensive, one of the bloodiest battles in human history. Roy's division endured massive artillery bombardment and defeated a German counterattack on the 7th of August. Roy was wounded in action on the 8th of August and wrote to his sister on the 9th of September 1916.
Just now I'm having a spell, having had 2 goes at Fritz, and the wound I received in the first stunt is now quite healed, and the second go I preserved a clean skin. But I could do a spell, for it knocks a man up, want of sleep and the knocking about a man gets through being blown up. We have had our share of the Huns, so called by us, and I hope we will have a spell before sailing in again. But our so-called spells are put in marching about the country and constant parade and drills, so there is little chance of getting any real rest until a man gets home to Australia again, and once there, never will I put foot on a ship gangway again.
In a letter to Ruby dated the 6th of October 1916, Roy reflects on his experiences on the front line and the heavy fighting he has been involved in. Some of the words in the letter have been censored.
I have just come out of the front line, and soon I expect we will be going back all together for a short spell. Anyway, I hope so, although here it is quiet compared with the Somme. I suppose you have read all about where I had my experiences of the big offensive, where I think the greatest fighting of the war is going on. Anyway, it is something to have been there and come out alive and well.
Roy was promoted to sergeant in October 1916. In January 1917, he sent his last letter to Ruby in which he talks of his leave in England and of the photo he has had taken of himself in his sergeant's uniform and sent to his family.
Just a few lines to let you know I received your kind letter. I was glad to hear that Mother was pleased with the card. Mother will have a couple of souvenirs for the time since I became sergeant. We are getting through the winter now, for once January is over, we will soon get through the remainder of the cold weather. With love to all, your affectionate brother, Sergeant Roy D. Proctor.
Roy Proctor was killed in action in France on the 1st of February 1917. Captain Francis Alwyn Leslie of the 15th Battalion wrote to Roy's mother in February, informing her of her son's death.
Long before you get this letter, you will have had news of your son's death in action. Nothing I can do, I know, can possibly lighten the blow this loss has been to you. But I want you to know how truly you have my deepest sympathy and that of all my officers. For his energy and determination, his personal courage and leadership, I had the greatest admiration, and as a man he earned the respect of all who knew him. Let me offer the deepest respect I feel as a soldier for the mother of such a man as your son.